Okay, back. Sorry, jumping back and forth with the computer to see what it looks like here, but okay, we're going to move forward here with setting up the tabs here. So Jeremy will monitor the chats for me so that I can answer some questions or let me know what's going on. So right click in here, we insert a new tab. Okay, we name this tab. We name it Future 2, and I will hit enter. And now we've got a new tab, Futures 2 here. And then you can move it if you want to. I want to manage it. I want to put it all the way back at the bottom. So I'm going to adjust it down so that so I can adjust the orders of the. You can adjust the order of it if you want to here. Move that one up there. Okay, I want to move this one down to the bottom. Okay, and I am happy with that. So there it is there. Okay, now I have it and it's blank. Okay, a quick way to do something like this would be go to the survey function here. Okay, and I want to pick the highest. I just want to look at the top 15. Okay, you're going to want to make sure you have a daily dollar volume of options traded. That's what this stands for. It's in thousands, so this really means 50,000 dollar volume of options traded there. I'm going to do the greatest dollar volume options traded. I'm just going to rank them based on this. Okay, and I'm selecting asset type. You can do any of these here if you want to, but we're going to do futures for this test here. I'm going to hit go, and it's going to pull up my list here. Okay, I got the top 15 here, and they're ranked based on dollar volume of options traded. Okay, now I want to put these all in the list in this specific order here. So I'm going to click on that, highlight the ESP, go down here. I'm going to hold down the Shift key and click on the live cattle. I'm going to insert. I'm going to close, and you'll see here they are now. Okay, this is my futures tab I just created here. Now you created a nice group. So you can go in there and you can play with survey. You can do for stocks if you're looking for highest IV/SV ratio. You can rank them based on that. Strictly just the highest implied, but a lot of different ways you can create a group here and then insert them over. A nice thing about that is that once you have created a tab, or this would even work as well for groups. So for instance, if I had this highlighted here and it was just a brand new group, I could then bring in a new group and title it equities with the greatest dollar volume options traded with the highest IV/SV ratio and rank them based on that. And the nice thing about doing something like that would be is then you can go into, for instance, TradeFinder. Now you've created a group. Okay, I could go into, let's do something different here. Let's go back to my futures tab. We'll work with this. Now I can go into TradeFinder, okay, and I can look at assets. This is where you want to start. You want to start and work your way from the left to the right when you're in TradeFinder here. And it's going to say selected assets. Well, if I click on the number 1, and we go back, I'm going to close it so you can see. Yeah, I'm highlighted on SP, and that's what TradeFinder is going to look like. Look at what you're highlighted on. Okay. Now, if I select, and that's what this button does here. If I click on the G button, it's going to pull in everything that's in my quotes display there, or in that group. So, for instance, if I was in my ETF sectors and I had JPM highlighted here, JP Morgan highlighted here, and I hit that third button, which is the G, it's going to take in just what's in this group. Okay. Now, if you hit the last button, which means all, it's going to select everything that's in this particular tab of the quotes display. Okay. And that's what this button would do here. Okay. Now, an important thing to do with this is when you do have a group, what OptionVue needs to see is it needs to see the option chain that you have defined for each of these underlying assets that you want to do a TradeFinder on. Okay, now you don't want to have to go in and open up all these matrices of all of these to pull in the option chain. So the step you want to do right here before you do anything is you're going to want to go up to NetView at the top. And then you want to go to Update Asset Files. And just like we did here, selecting our individual asset that we're highlighted on, the group that we're highlighted in, or the whole entire quotes display that we're looking at, you're going to want to select the same thing here. Okay, and now This is because I'm in a different tab than we were before. I want to close this. I want to go back to my quotes display and get back to my futures that we were looking at before. Okay. Then I can look at my TradeFinder. Now I'm back in the right group. Okay. And then let me close my email so it doesn't happen anymore. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to NetView, update asset files, and select that group again. And now we have the correct group in there. Okay, this is a very important step when you're running TradeFinder for a group of assets, okay? And I'm not going to hit go for reasons of time because it goes through each of these assets and opens up in option chain. Behind the scenes, you don't actually open them up in your OptionVue, but behind the scenes, it's pulling in all this data so that you could run a nice TradeFinder, okay? Next, you'd want to go to targets if you're doing a group, okay? And now I want to do a price range. Well, you can't really do a price range right here because you have all these underlying different assets. This would work fine if we were just looking at, crude or live cattle or something like that. You have to click on this button right here, this little button with 3 dots on it to the left of these symbols here. And what that's going to do is set all the targets. So if you had all these targets here and you wanted to say set up a bell curve or a price range or a specific price, this is where you do it. You can set it by date or date range as well. And what you would do, and what this is this is current price plus or minus a percentage. If you just want to say I want to do, maybe you want to do a calendar or condor or a butterfly. You just had something that was neutral, non-directional. You could put 0 in there and enter. That means you're not looking for a price change, big price movement in any of these. And then you can put a specific date in. How far out in time do you want to go? You want to go out into March. You could do that. You could also put in an X3, which is going to pull in different months out, different months expiration out. So that would be looking at the 3rd month expiration out on these futures. Okay. So I'll just give you an example here. We'll just say 215-2013. And I'm going to hit OK. You can also change the implied volatility as well. These are all things you can change in here. I hit OK. And what it would do is it's going to go in here. It's going to go through each of these assets. And it's going to put a target price for all of these in here. Okay. So that's what it would do. Then you would next click on strategies. Okay. You have your bullish on the left here and the bearish on the right. You can select all covered, select all, deselect all, choose which ones you want to look at here. Okay. If you just want to look at calls or puts, you want to include leaps. This is where you would do that here. And then you would click on goals, put in the amount of capital you're going to provide for this trade. Okay, it's TradeFinder is going to try to maximize whatever capital you provide. Okay, if you had an existing position you were looking to have TradeFinder include in the analysis, you would check this box off. And then filters is important too. So if you were looking for a short-term trade and you just wanted to look at maybe weeklies, you want to make sure you put in here that the options are expiring within a certain period of time, so that's only going to look at those options. Then if you're looking, now that's going to affect things the other way too, so if you want to look at options that are expiring further out, you want to make sure you put a date further out there. Or you don't have to put a date in here, you can leave this blank as well. So these are called option qualifiers, and the nicest thing down here that you want to make sure you do is put in that there's some open interest and some volume going on here. Otherwise, you might get some results that are impractical because there's no open interest and no volume, and you're not going to actually get filled for a trade like that. And we're going to run one here. I just didn't want to run it with the group because it takes a while to do that with TradeFinder. So let me close this and we'll run something here. Let's run something on Apple actually. And back to my main here. I have my Apple down here. Okay. And I am going to go into TradeFinder now. And let me actually open up an Apple matrix so I don't have to do that. Okay. Let's see. I have a really large defined Apple matrix here. I'm actually going to suspend the quotes. Not a bad idea sometimes when you run a TradeFinder because there's so much data is coming in all at once when prices are changing. But now I'm going to start over here. I'm going to go here. I'm going to click on one. There's my Apple, the one I'm highlighted on. I'm going to hit a target. Okay. And let's just say, let's say we have a specific price and a specific date. Okay, I'm going to pull in the at-the-money right now, which is 502. Let's say we're a little bullish on Apple, and we want to say Apple's going to be 530. And let's say it's going to take, let's do March. Okay, so we want to do something like that. Not going to mess with the volatility change, but you can to see what the results would look at. Let's look at so I'm just going to select a couple here. We'll just say long options, long underlying. Just see what those come up with here. And you can rank these now. You're going to be able to rank them based on best case return, worst case return, expected return, which is going to look at standard deviations and probability of profit. You can rank them based on probability of profit. Best case return versus worst case return ratio, and expected return, worst case return ratio. Okay, let's look at the best case return. I'm going to click on my goals here, and let's just do, and my filters here, I'm going to leave them mostly blank, and keep volume greater than or equal to 1 here. And we're going to hit go. Okay. Now it's going through each of those strategies. It's showing you that it's working here. Okay. And it's going to show you 50 results. Okay. The top 50 results based on what you're ranking them by. Okay. And it's still working through my vertical debit spreads. And like I said again, it's going to take a little while just because there are so many options in that I have defined out there in my matrix, my options chain. Okay, and it goes through the strategies that you selected in order. So as you can see, the butterfly just bounced all those other spreads out because the butterflies are going to show you better results. And what it's probably doing right now with the butterflies, and something you have to remember too when you're looking at TradeFinder, is that butterflies can get tricky when you're using TradeFinder because it's going to look at the peak. You have, kind of it looks like a mountain peak. And what it'll do is whatever your price target you gave it, and I gave it a round number, so it's going to look at those strikes probably and put the peak right there. And so that's why a lot of times you're going to get some really awesome looking results if at that particular date and time Apple finishes, the underlying is at that price that I selected it at. So just something to keep in mind when you're looking at TradeFinder results here. And I know for a fact that the butterflies were going to be at the top of the list here, so I'm going to go ahead and actually stop this now. Okay, and we can analyze, and you can be able to see. You can highlight this here, and if you just double click on it, it's going to take you right to the matrix here, so that you'll be able to see where this is. Okay, and it's probably, I have weeklies set up here, so it's probably way out here. I was bullish, so I know it's going to be out this way somewhere. There it is there. Okay, that's what it's showing right now in the calls. Okay, so put a butterfly out here. Of course, it's going to try to maximize what capital I provided and the specific date range, or actually specific date I gave it, and we'll analyze it and see. As you can see, this is the target, the very specific black line target that I gave TradeFinder. Okay, if I did a range, a price range, it would give you a shaded region of your price range and show you, why this is going to give you such an awesome result, and it's showing you, where it's going to be, at expiration here. Okay, I'll close this one and close this, and we'll look at another result in TradeFinder too. And like I said, they're all butterflies. They're all going to be very similar. I analyze this. Okay, and this is a different strike range. Not strike range, but different contract month because it's not showing me expiration. But again, it's showing you, where your yield is going to be if you had this butterfly on that particular projection date there. Okay. So very powerful feature if you have a specific target and very specific information you want to have TradeFinder go out and look for. Okay. It takes a little bit of practice. You might not get some results. I'll put a TradeFinder on that somebody's asking me to do all the time, and it won't run. I'll go back and, I might have had too few of days in here or too many days that wasn't giving the results we were looking for. Okay. I might not have had the target set up properly. Okay, so Done a lot of videos on these, and all these available here if you want some help walking through how you would like to use TradeFinder. Okay. Well, I'm going to go back and actually look at, let's look at this one again. I'm going to go ahead and analyze this one. You can double click on it, send it to the matrix, or strictly go right to the analyze, not even go to the matrix. And that's what these things will do for you. Now, I pulled up a couple graphs from TradeFinder, okay? And what OptionVue does is it's going to store these, the last one that you actually looked at, sent to the matrix, okay? Let's say I wanted to superimpose those two together. Okay, you can do that. And the colors are representing which ones we're looking at. Okay, so now we're looking at our March 10th projection lines here. Okay, so you can really compare and contrast, with TradeFinder results and utilize the risk graph to show you that as well. These dotted lines in the center here are showing you your break-evens. Okay, we're looking at the break-evens for. We can click on the blue line, and it'll show us the break-evens for those. Click on, the maroon kind of rust color line there, which now it becomes highlighted to red, letting you know that this is the line we're looking at, and these are the Greeks down here that we're looking at, representing that line. Okay. Over here, we have a little button, little dotted button here, and it's going to show you a little bit of a kind of a different take on the Greeks. It kind of gives you a little bit of a graph that you can look at. If you prefer looking at them that way, you can always switch that off if you want to as well. Okay, we can change the volatility. Say the volatility here is going to decrease by 5%, and see what that does to our risk lines. Okay, it's going to change the Greeks down at the bottom. Okay, it's going to shift our lines in a certain direction. Let's say that increases 10%. It's going to flatten our lines out. Okay, you can always go back to 0 and look at where we're looking at now. If you wanted to, again, you can go up to 5 lines here, and you can always right-click here and change these dates to a very specific date if you wanted to do that. Okay. Default systems have T plus lines in here. And T plus 0 would be 1/17/13 would be today. T plus 0 days. That's what it means today plus 1, 2, 10 days, whatever you have it there. If you want to change this to look like actual date, you would go to the file, go to preferences. Okay. And down here, graphic analysis legend, I have display dates. Okay. You can, this horizontal axis is what you're doing is you're shrinking it down or making it a larger x-axis basically, or we can zoom in as well, and that's what this does here. You notice this box shifts around. We get questions on that a lot. All it's doing is it's trying to find the largest area that's not so it's not in the way or affecting any of the lines. Okay, so you saw that it shifted when I had it down here. It shifted from one area to another. I started doing some of this. But if you see that shift around, that's all it's doing there. And then you can move to the right if you want to move it to the right. Okay. Another way to do that is you can actually drag these down here. You see that left-right arrow I have down here. You can actually, I'm left-clicking and holding it down, and it's zooming in for me. Okay, so that's what it's doing. Okay. Down here, you'll see this probability of profit is showing 100%. You got to be careful when you're looking at probability of profit when you're doing certain analysis. The reason it's giving me 100% probability of profit is because I gave it a very specific target. I click on this target, TGT right here, and you can see that's the target, that's the date. If this is what the price is going to be and this is the date, these trades are going to give you 100% probability of profit because that's the target. I didn't do a bell curve. A bell curve is going to be something that you're going to want to use as a target if you're looking for more of a probability of profit results there. But here we're giving TradeFinder a specific target and projection to find for us. Okay. Also, you can always right-click anywhere in the graphic analysis here, and you can change the center price. You can change the interval. Okay, let's say I want to have $2 intervals. Okay, I'm going to hit OK. Watch everything at the bottom is going to change when I do that, and zoom me in right at where I have my center price set at. I want to bring that out. Let's just do $10. Okay. Okay, so if you wanted to have something really defined here, we can go here, and then we can do 10. And now you'll have nice even numbers at the bottom here. Okay. You can always also look at these break-even numbers, and sometimes they might be smaller when you're looking at this. A way to change this is to go again up to File, go to Preferences, and if you look at fonts, I have mine set up to a much larger, not much larger, 2-point larger font, which is going to make some of the numbers in OptionVue look a little bigger, depending on what the size of the screens that you're using. Okay. Let's see here. You can also change the way that your positions that you're looking at is displayed. Okay, so you want it very concise. Moving this button here is going to make it, very. It's not even going to tell you. It's going to say 56 March 505. The C is representing the call. Okay, as I go to the next, it's actually going to spell it out for you. When I bring it out even further, it's going to really bring it out for you there. Okay. If you wanted to set up, and you can always change this too if you want to clear your targets, this little button here is going to clear all the targets out of this graphic analysis that I've done. It's going to take away that black line. Okay. Say I wanted to click on target, now I want to get a new target with what I'm looking at here. Okay, I want to do, let's just do a bell curve. These buttons are going to pull in right now what the at the money is showing. So I'm going to pull in where, while I suspended the quotes, remember we're still suspended here. It's going to pull in the volatility that's in my matrix now. Okay, and let's just give it a March date that we were looking at before. And watch how this is going to give us a bell curve now. Okay. So based on this date, this is showing us, and you can look at these the shaded area here is representing these. It's the first standard deviation and second standard deviation based on the bell curve. I'm going to bring this out a little bit further so you can see it better. Okay, so now you can see the first shaded area. You can show the second shaded area is representing these colors down here, and this is what our bell curves, and that's a different way to look at a target. And now based on our target results and the trades we have on, it's going to show you what our probability of profits are going to be at this date and time. Okay, and if you look, you know how it says probability of profit 50%, and let's make sure we're looking at the right trade here. Let me click on this one. Now we're going to be looking at this red one here. We're looking at this trade up here. It's giving us a probability of profit of 30%. Okay. Reason being is at this line, you'll notice that only 30% roughly of this shaded area is going to be above the graph. So that's where it's coming up with this numbers based on the bell curve here. Okay. Say I wanted to get rid of this whole graph. Click on that. Okay, now it's giving me the original one. I want to close that. That's the very first one. So we had two individual ones, and then we superimposed them. If I click that, we got nothing else to look at. So I've cleared all of that out here. Okay. Just going to kind of scroll over here and see if there's any chats. Nobody's saying anything. So I'm going to keep going. And close this one. Bring this up. And I'm going to unsuspend my quotes here. Okay, now I know a lot of people have been trying out some different quotes here. You'll see I have this XT up here that I wanted to point out. This XT basically is showing me where my quotes are coming from. They're coming from QuoteVue. Okay, if you had the broker quotes, okay, you would switch to interactive brokers or TOS here. And one of the reasons I like to have this here is so that if I was using IB or TOS, you'd be able to see that those quotes were coming in from right there. It would say TOS in here if you had TOS or IB if you were using IB. Okay. Also, I mentioned I was going to talk about status. Okay. Status is a very important button here. I'm in account test 5. I actually put some trades on here a little bit while ago so that we could look at it. But I click on the status button. It's going to show me these are the trades that I currently have going on in this account. It's showing me my buying stock power, negative 19. I think I should change that. Let me go into my T-log real quick. It's nice to show you how to do this. This is just some things I've done when I've been working with people. I use this account sometimes, and it shows I have 20,000 in here. I'm going to change this to just 100 so that I'm not showing a negative uh, status amount here. So I click on status here, and it looks a little better than the red. But so now this is what it would look like. So you'd start this account, you'd put trades on, or you import trades that you've had going on for a while if you're just starting out with OptionVue. And now it's going to show you all these trades I have. So I'm long these. I have this spread on. Okay, and these are trades I put on today. Do I have some things in here? Okay, it's going to show you your value, change, cash, buying power, and this has to do with margins, things like that. It's going to show your portfolio delta as a whole, okay, and your portfolio delta, theta as a whole, and it's using a beta delta base, okay. You can pull this down. It's going to show you the ranking basis on what's going to be best for this. Of course, I have some diamonds on here, so Qs are close. Everything looks pretty even though. Using the SPX or SPY isn't bad, so I'm going to keep it where it's at right now. And basically what that's telling you is what is giving you a base as far as what would be good for hedging. Okay. For instance, if I wanted to hedge this, I would click on Hedge Finder. And again, you can have whatever positions you have going on here. Okay. This is my existing position, my existing portfolio and hedged. I wanted to find a hedge for this, and it gives you this range, time frame, let's say for 6 months. You could also put in this certain date if you wanted to, but we're going to do 6 months. Let's say I want to hedge for 15% would be acceptable, and I don't want to sell credit spreads, call credit spreads to pay for this. I'm going to hit no here. I'm going to continue, and it's going to find a hedge for me. Okay, and now we're looking at, based on SPX prices, it's showing you your positions, Greeks down here. Okay, and it's working. It's looking at SPX right now. And there's the recommended hedge. Okay. Existing portfolio plus recommended hedge of 1 SPX. 1275 put is giving you the cost as well. Okay, and now it's going to show you what it looks like hedged. It's going to show you what it's going to look like unhedged. Unhedged, hedged. It's basically pulling this up and flattening this out up here a little bit. Okay, that's kind of a nice feature to check out as well. A lot of people ask about Hedge Finder. A lot of people will ask about what is delta beta delta base, how is it calculated? I would rather give the textbook definition. So if you have that question, just send an email to one of your product consultants here, and we'll get the definition out to you. You can always find it actually under help. If you go to OptionVue 7, this is our one of our support features. It's basically like an index of our product manual, OptionVue manual. Gets really in detail about calculations, how our modules are calculating different figures. Great resource. You can also find it on our website under support. It's called the Online Support System, and it does have a search section in the upper left-hand corner where you can actually type in Hedge Finder if you wanted to, or type in beta/delta base, and it'll pull up a definition for you and related topics as well. So what I wanted to do next is I wanted to show you, go into my my diamond here that I put these positions in. Okay, let me find it. Where's it at? Oh, there we go. Okay, so now that's what these letters represent, as where that you do have a position in it. We're in the test 5 account that I have here, which is why this is highlighted. Okay, this means that if I go in here, I'm going to see my active position. This is not highlighted, it's in a different account. And if I right click on that, you're going to see where that position is showing that it is right now. It's another way to quickly go from one account to another. So now I could jump into this SPX 2% covered right if I wanted to and see what positions I had in that account. Okay, but we're looking at the diamonds right now, so I'm going to go into a matrix here. Okay. So what I have going on here is I have a spread. Actually, I have a calendar or a horizontal going on here. I had a different position going on down here, and I kind of did this because I wanted to show you how the status would work. And I have another spread over here. Okay. One way to look at this spread now, you have a lot going on here, and maybe you want to look at all these positions by themselves. Well, I want to look at this one by itself. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. Okay, by highlighting this at the top, just looking at this spread. Okay, I can uncheck that, and you're going to see that everything's going to come back into play here. Now it's looking at everything all together. Okay, if you wanted to look at more than 1 month, okay, I can highlight that one. I'm just left clicking on this March here. Okay, and then I'm left clicking and holding down the control button, and now I'm just looking at March and February. Okay, I just want to look at February. I can uncheck that one. Now I'm just looking at February. Okay, that's well and good. Say I wanted to look at this calendar by itself, though. I can't just select this without somehow getting this incorporated. Where that's where status comes into play. I'm going to click on the status here, and this is going to be these are my spreads that I have going on. Okay, this is my vertical, this is a vertical, and you're seeing my horizontal here. You can double click on this, left click twice, and it pulls it up by itself. Okay, you can then analyze that by itself. Okay, very neat to be able to do that if you're trading different types of spreads. You just want to see those spreads isolated. If you're like I said, if you're trading a lot of different spreads within a certain underline, different contract months. Okay, I can analyze this one by itself now. Okay. Also, you can set up position alerts now for these specific different spreads you have. So for this calendar, for instance, let's say I wanted to create an alert for this. I could right-click here, set a new alert based on this position right here. Okay, I can say the action I want it to send me an email, display a message, make a sound so that I know I'm not going to miss this. Okay. And when you go in here and you set in action details, you're going to see I have it set up for my OptionVue so that I get an OptionVue alert. Okay, you can actually go to details. You can pull a sound from whatever from your WAV file that you have set up already. Okay, now my trigger. So I can have an objective price, objective gain, a percent gain. I definitely want to make sure I'm notified when I hit 25% so that I know that's my target and I want this to take a profit and go with this. And then you can also set up stop losses. If the delta of this position hits a certain level, you can if you're trading delta neutral and you're really watching delta, and you want to keep an alert set up for your delta gets a certain level, you know it's time to make an adjustment. You can set it up so that it alerts you. Okay, so I'm going to leave it where it is just to show you what happens here. Now that I have this alert set, okay, I'm going to go ahead and double click on this so I can see it again, my spread. just left click it twice, bring it to the matrix, wait for data to pull in, hit analyze, and you'll see there, bam, I have my objective set up here. That's where I'm going to hit my 25%. So, you know, my volatility shifts up and my line hits this, all of a sudden I'm going to get an alert. It's going to let me know that you hit your target. It's time to do something. Okay. Let's go back to status again. And it's also nice because you can always send the closing trade to the matrix if you want to at this position. So an alert is set. You get the alert, you come into status, you can right click, send the closing trade to the matrix, and it will do that for you. Okay. Another important thing about status is it has a lot to do with the reports that are created here. Okay, this is very important for backtesting, very important for keeping good records, is to always make it a habit of when you go into OptionVue for the first time, close everything out here. Okay, you open up OptionVue, nothing else is open, your quotes display. Very nice to go up to status right away, see where you're at, what OptionVue is showing you, and then right here next to status, minimize it. You always want to have that status open because it's basically keeping a record for you of what's happening. Okay, if that status isn't open every day, it's going to you're going to miss out a day on taking that snapshot, which is then transferred to these reports when you want to produce them. So when you're back testing, it's very important. Just open up status all the time, keep it minimized. Then you can go to reports, okay, and you'll see a nice performance graph. Okay, sometimes if you opened it maybe back in March and didn't open it until May, you'll just see a flat line going from here to there. You won't see any of the ups and downs that your position did. So that's why status is very important, to create multiple days of records and tracking for you here. Okay, not so much gonna really affect this as much as it is your performance graph if you really want to be able to go back to a certain day and see where your position was. Okay. Let's take a look at one other thing, and then I'll try to minimize this and see what kind of questions I got here. But let's go back into the my diamonds matrix here. Click on this, and let's click on we'll move over here, and I just want to look at this position here. So I'm going to just click on this. I'm going to hit analyze. Okay. Now this is kind of a neat feature. I'm going to click on the price chart. Okay. So I don't want to look at the lower chart right now. Click on that. Now I want to see, based on the trade that I have, there's only 2 days left because it's expiring, but I just want to see where my profit zone is, and there it is. It'll show you on a price graph where your profit zone is. Maybe not the best example because there's so few days left, so I'll do something else here. Okay, let's click on my status again. Let's do my calendar. Double clicking, left clicking twice, analyzing, going to my price chart. Clicking on it, looks like a boomerang, green and red boomerang. There it is. Okay, so that's your profit zone based on my horizontal that I have right there. So just kind of another feature I wanted to show you that you can do. Okay, I am going to go all the way back to the matrix. I'm going to attempt to see some chats here and see if I have any questions. Okay, I'm trying to see any questions. If anybody has any, go ahead and type, and I will address other things. Sorry about the problems we're having here. Well, we're going to use this just again. We will definitely do some better preparation. I will at least, because nothing more frustrating than trying to get started with a presentation and having all those issues at the beginning. So apologies for that. I will try to edit some of that out and start for the recording at least. Okay, I got a question. Does OptionVue let you place orders and use the data from TD Ameritrade? Yes and no. Depends on if you have you will not be able to place any orders through OptionVue to TD Ameritrade, TOS, or anything like that. The only company that we do that with currently is Track Data out of New York. There's a little, if you go to optionvue.com and look at the website there, there's a trading tab. You can actually get through there to see a video of how it would be to actually trade through OptionVue to Track Data. It's kind of neat. It's something no one else gets to see unless you have an account with Track Data, and how OptionVue allows you to kind of work an order and enter an order into Track Data. Yep, that's Track Data, correct, Chris. You can use data with TOS now through Excel. There's a patch with Excel. It's not. I definitely recommend testing it out. Get a trial, you can test it out. Depending on what version of your, I think there's some workstation you're working on, and version of Excel. All those things are playing into it, so it might take a little bit of fine tuning, but definitely something I'd check out if you're interested. Okay, if there's no more questions, I'll wrap it up for today. I will post this on YouTube. I definitely recommend taking a look at my YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search OptionVue James. I put these on there every week, and also the ones from Monday. Another question, Chris, asking about Backtesters only end-of-day data. No, it's a Backtrader is the data source. We've saved option data going back every half an hour to January 2001. Anything U.S. exchange traded, futures, equities, indexes, commodities, and the options that go along with them. So it's a powerful tool, and actually TradeFinder will work in Backtrader mode. So not a bad idea. If TradeFinder is a tool that you want to use, turn the clock back 2 years, run TradeFinder and test it out using our Backtrader data to see if it's gonna, the kind of results it's gonna come up with. And if you put them on and listen to its results, it's very neat. I've done it a lot. Encourage people to do that. The entire OptionVue system thinks that it's that date and time when you actually go into Backtrader mode. So great tool to learn options trading, learn different strategies. If you come across a strategy that you've read in a book, you can actually go back and test it out. So, all right, everyone, thanks so much. And I believe Karen will be doing next week's presentation. And as always, give us a call here, 800-733-6610 if you have any questions. Want to do a walkthrough one-on-one with someone, we're happy to do so. Thanks, everybody. Take care.